Okay, so there was no sector analysis on this one, but haven't done any trend lines or anything, so we'll do it on the fly so that you can figure out how to do it. So this is BNTC, and if you were to do a Fibonacci retracement on this guy, you can see that it's starting to coil over at the 38.2%, or you can, expect to turn around at 263, 264, roughly that area. So, and then we got Twitter. Twitter recently gapped down, so we might have an opportunity here. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, so we got a little doji development right here after the earnings report right here, so I do expect it to come back up for now. Jesus. Anyway, for now, you could expect it to come back up to this region, back up to the, the original resistance line right here. Well, it looks like I already did resistance line in the past on this one, so might as well extend it. So, support turns to resistance, so I do expect it to come back up here. We'll just have to wait and see. So, PAFE, same thing. This one's still holding strong, so I do expect it to come up to the 33.64, especially with today being up. And GSAT is looking even more favorable. Let's see. Oh, hello. So we have some pretty good uptick on this one. I'm not surprised it went up a little later on, especially from here, because it doesn't have to follow the overall trend, but it will typically rebound on a lateral line, which is like right on the money right there for a 135 reversal, so that's pretty cool. So anyways, if you didn't buy here, this is a pretty good buying opportunity right there. Just wait for it to come back down if it ever does. Just look at the intraday and see what it does. Just analyze some candles and the overall direction that it's in. The only thing that's not favorable is the associated volume with it. Okay, so Sprint, same thing as GSAT. They tend to follow one another-ish because they're both in the telemarketing. So this was a buy signal right here. I just didn't have my eye on GSAT, on Sprint, but this doji right here, preceding one of these long downtrends is a buy signal technically, followed by an up on the higher than the downtrending volume here, so that's pretty good. So I would do one of these, something like that. Anyway, for the overall trend, so this, I wouldn't buy today. I would wait for it to come back to around this price. We'll just have to wait and see, because of this doji is kind of worrying me here a little bit. So AMD, this one I'm not really paying attention to much because there's no real big buying opportunities outside of the fact that this is creating higher lows and higher highs. If this candle starts to go back down, especially if it closes below Friday's candle, then it'll be a good sign that it's heading back down. But this is technically a consolidation area right here, so if it does end up breaking above the 1425, it might turn into a momentum. So that could be really good, especially given the fact that just earlier this month the price was at 962 roughly. So with that growth, if this does turn into a momentum, we could get a pretty good setup for high and tight, especially if it reaches the $16 mark. So that could be really interesting. HK, let's see. So HK, I'm just waiting for another buying opportunity, something like that. I do want it to retrace back to this area before we even consider buying it. So this one I just have my eye on for the week. HKOZM, OCM is just doing really good for the time being. Now bear in mind that there is a earnings report coming up, so it can go either way. Because I don't do much fundamental analysis, you know, it can spike up before it and then have bad news and then just drop or something. So who knows? But pretty solid consolidation period right here. So, you know, the overall trend right now is up, obviously. You know, so if it does come back down, I don't think it'll come back down to this original support line. I would consider it more around this price. So that could be a pretty interesting thing to keep an eye on. You know, we kind of missed out on the buy right here. Pretty good associated volume. Pretty good volume on this one. That was kind of a buy signal right here, especially since it made an attempt for the high right here. But this was kind of a confirmation right here, and then it just kept going up. So it's creating another consolidation period here, so we'll just have to wait and see if it drops or it goes back up. But, you know, according to all this volume, apparently people are thinking that this is going to be a good earnings report. So could be interesting. OCM. So AOBC. Why did I have this one on here? AOBC being so close to the support line, I am curious to see what it does. We did have a buy signal here, but depending on your risk tolerance, you should have either scaled out or considered scaling out, but I don't think this is much of a drop. You know, like, even if you bought at the end of the day at the closing high, let's say for example, you'd be down negative 4.69 roughly. So, you know, it kind of seems like the market is rejecting this lower half. So if it does end up closing a little higher, then, you know, my sentiment would be fairly bullish. So we'll just have to wait and see what this one does. But this one I'm just curious about. I put it on the list because I put a buy signal here last week. So I just tend to track these, just because I want to know what's going to happen. Rad was our missed opportunity because I kind of forgot about it, and it did exactly what I thought it would, if y'all remember. Consecutive dojis indicating market uncertainty, or at least a minimum value for this stock, and look what it did. It went up 10% in 4 days, like let's say Friday, 3 days, and it went up 6.76%. So that's a pretty solid return. This one seems to be retracing back from the close of this day, or the opening of this day at least. So right here would be the resistance, and I'm hoping for it to come back down to this area so that we can get a buying opportunity to come back up here. And we'll just have to wait and see, but you know, it is possible for this stock to keep going up to the, you know, almost the $6 mark. So we'll see. Gaps do tend to fill. So there we have BBRY. Again on the list just because I put a buy signal over here, and I'm just tracking it. You should be up like 6% on the perfect trade roughly. So this one's looking really similar to RAD, where it's finding that minimum value, especially these 3 consecutive days, you know. And then you've got an uptick in volume, which is, you know, an indication that this is going to be a true climb, especially if the relative volume is higher, or the current volume is higher than the average volume. So it could be good. Now it kind of seems like we've got a doji candles forming here, so it's probably going to test and come back down. And that's all I have for now. Probably just going to chill and watch and just let things ride for now, but that's it.